Understanding people's character is a million times more important than what they say, than anything else. The ability to look at people and scrutinize qualities that matter. We need to be thinking about it. We need to be aware of these incredible, awesome things that surround us every day. Otherwise, we lose our soul. Our brains have incredible capacity to think anything. That's a benefit of our human brain and the deficit of it. But we can imagine anything. But we love that mental freedom. The thing about the sublime that I'm trying to capture the essence of in the book is that it's a mix of pain and pleasure. And that's what makes it so powerful. So the idea of our mortality is obviously very painful, right? What could be more painful? But the idea of transforming that into something beautiful, into something enlightening, into something that kind of fills us with a much different spirit, which motivates us to get something done, which makes us appreciate what we can look at. We're alive and the sky is blue and, and all that. So mortality has this ability to sharpen our senses, to sharpen our appreciation of life, and that turns that pain into pleasure. But the pain and pleasure always go together. So underneath that kind of ecstatic feeling that you feel when you're aware that, there's eternal time and that there are all these insanely wonderful things around the world, is always going to be mixed with that tincture of pain about how I'm going to be gone and I won't be here to appreciate it. But that mix of the two emotions is what makes it so powerful and so insanely addictive, right? Because pure pleasure on its own can almost get monotonous, and it can almost go, I'm tired of it, I'm bored, and pure pain, But the combination of these two things, and so in my book, I'm talking about how every element of the sublime has the mix of those emotions and why neurologically that is such a powerful thing to us. So, people who've had ecstatic experiences, what Maslow, the great psychologist, called peak experiences. Let's say one of the paradigms for me is climbing a mountain, right? Climbing Mount Everest. People who've had those kind of mountaineering experiences, to get there, whoa, what pain, man. How awful. You can't breathe. You could die at any minute. There could be an avalanche. But you're so excited. You're so happy because you're alive and you're testing your limits. This is known as the dynamical sublime, where you're testing your human endurance against the forces of nature. And then you reach the top and you have this insane view. That's like the paradigm of the mix of these two emotions, so that the sublime is not just these rare moments where you climb a mountain or whatever it is, but it's in your everyday consciousness, right? That's the goal that I have. What people are missing nowadays is they don't have a sense of awe and a sense of enchantment about the world around them. They feel everything is kind of dead and everything is sort of the same. But the actual truth of it is that this world is so unlikely that you and I over Skype about these very issues 5,000 years ago, who could ever? It's impossible. It's insane. It's a dream. It's like it's not even real. It's like the Matrix. Who could even begin to believe it? Every moment of your life is like that, but you're not aware of it. You're so wrapped in banality that you're not aware of the insane awesomeness. So my first chapter, which I finally finished, it was so difficult, was about the cosmos and about the Big Bang and about the universe and about the origin of stars and how the moon came from the Earth about 4.5 billion years ago, collided with this other Mars-sized planet called Theia. It was this giant collision, and the pieces of dust from that collision started spinning around the Earth, and by gravity it kind of coalesced and it became the moon. And wow, the moon is just like this dust that came from Earth, right? And then in the beginning, it was like 2/3 closer to Earth than it was now. It was like this thing that was right there in your face. And to see the origin of the moon and to realize that is unbelievable. And that the moon that I'm looking at now, you don't have to climb Mount Everest. You can go out now and even in the daytime, you can see the moon. That's the same moon that people in ancient Babylonia were looking at. And so you're having the same experience that they're having, You can time travel. I do a lot of time traveling in this book, where you can experience what it was like 5,000 years ago, 1 million years ago. You can travel through art. The internet is the most sublime thing ever invented. Now, I'm writing this book. I have one little question about a dinosaur that I'm wondering about, how it survived. I do 3 little clicks on my computer and whoa, I've got all the answers. I have all these experiments. It's insane. It's insane the world we live in. It is so insanely beautiful and sublime. You're just not aware of it, you know? People dealing with a lot worse in this world, people with coronavirus, etc. But it's been very frustrating not being able to take a walk, not being able to hike, not being able to open things, not being able to type, just little frustrations. And when I had the original idea, I was going to travel to all parts of the world and I was going to see all these weird sublime landscapes in Argentina. I was going to go to Antarctica. I was going to go dive and be with the dolphins and the sharks in these waters. I was going to have all these insane experiences and write about them. Okay, now the irony is I'm doing the book and I can't even walk outside my house, right? So my life is so limited that I have to find that now in my head, but it's an advantage. Talking about turning shit into sugar. That's how I'm turning that shit into sugar. Because the limitation is I have to use my own brain to experience it. But for people out there who are trapped in a bad job, who can't voyage to Antarctica or Argentina, I'm trying to make the book something that's going to relate to you just like me. If you feel trapped or you feel limited, you can explore, you can do all of these things sitting at home and expand your mind and feel it and give yourself a greater sense of excitement about even the weirdness of just being alive right now. So that horrible disadvantage that I've had where I can't do the book that I wanted is actually the best thing that could have ever happened to me, I think, in the end, as far as how the book will eventually come out.
I had meant to write the book about 15, 16 years ago. It's a subject that's always fascinated me. I had read some other book about it and I thought, what a weird concept. It really attracted me, is that we humans tend to live in this kind of a circle of codes and conventions, of things we're supposed to do, of ways we're supposed to think, etc. And we have to kind of obey these conventions. We're not even aware of them. They're unwritten, right? We can't say certain things. We can't experience certain things because this is how society creates kind of an order. But what lies outside that circle obsesses us. We're fascinated by it. It's the land of the forbidden. It's the land of something dark, different. It's something we've not experienced before. It's overwhelming. It's powerful. It's awesome. And that is the sublime. And to just explore what's outside that circle has a transformative effect on you. It's what the psychologist Maslow called a peak experience. It will change you for the rest of your life, I can guarantee you. And the ultimate sublime experience is death itself, because that's the ultimate unknown in the world. That's what really lies beyond the circle. We'll never know what that is, right? And people who've had near-death experiences, it completely changes them. They're never the same. It's like an insane revelation. I wrote my last chapter in The Laws of Human Nature about confronting your mortality and the sublime. And then 3 months later, I came this close to dying myself. I was in a coma, I was unconscious, and I too had a slight near-death experience, not as powerful as other people have. So the irony was, a book I'd been planning to write for 15 years, 16 years, suddenly got bitch slapped in the face with the reality of it. And it was like very intense. I go, all right, now it's going to be my next book, you know? And I think the point of it is, you know, we humans for so many thousands of years had religion, and we live in a very sophisticated scientific world. And many of us kind of scoff at religion as something from our primitive past. But in fact, religion served a deep human need that we all had. It's embedded in human nature. And the disappearance of something larger than ourselves, of something that's kind of mysterious, incomprehensible, is we have to have a relationship to that, or we're not a human being anymore. Why are we conscious? We're the only animal that's conscious of death. We're conscious of evolution. We're conscious. We know what a black hole is. We can map out the history of the universe. Can you imagine that? That is insane. That is the sublime, and we need to be thinking about it. We need to be aware of these incredible, awesome things that surround us every day. Otherwise, we lose our soul. It's a book about reconnecting to those powerful, primitive things in our nature. The first chapter has to do with the cosmic sublime. So to be aware of the size of the universe, of how small we are, of how powerful it is an incredible experience, because it puts you into life into perspective, and it actually makes you much more appreciative of every minute that you have alive. The second chapter is about what I call the biological sublime, and I'm trying to make you aware of how strange it is to be alive, how strange it is for you to be conscious right now. Because if you knew the history of life on this planet, you would realize the odds against Lauren and Michael existing as you are absolutely astronomical. If you went down the list of things, and I do that in the chapter, of all the things that had to happen for Lauren and Michael to exist is astounding. You would drop dead if I explained it to you. People don't go around thinking about that. They take for granted their life. They take for granted that they have 60, 70, 80 years of breathing on this planet. They take for granted their relationships. They take for granted all the technology that we have. They go around blind. They think they're so privileged, everything was meant to be this way. No, open your eyes. It's insane. You have so much to be grateful for and so much not to take for granted. Prison is the most stark, naked atmosphere of human interaction you can imagine, where the power is so obvious, it's so overt, it's so direct and so immediate that there's no escaping it. You know, if you're in the work world and you have a terrible boss, you close the door, you go away, you go home. Imagine that your jailmate or you're somebody in the cell, there's no escaping. Every day, it's so powerful, it's so raw, right? How do you survive that? And if you're already a tough person that's got this kind of hardness to them, you're probably not going to need the 48 laws of power. And I get letters written to me from prisoners, so I kind of know what I'm talking about right here. It's not the hardened ones that read the 48 laws of power. It's the ones who are in there for some like drug conviction, where they happen to have their third conviction and they're sentenced to 10 years, and they're not someone who's been in prison before, or they've been in jail but never in prison. And whoa! Or maybe they're not as tough as they thought they were, and they're dealing with not just the prisoners, but the wardens. The wardens can be nasty, manipulative, violent, right? So imagine all the worst people in your life in one tiny space, and you have to deal with them every single day, day in and day out, and you have to survive, and literally it's life and death. Well, you better believe you're going to open a book that kind of might help you in dealing with that, and that would be the 48 Laws of Power. So I understand it very well. You know, it's a book that tries to be as honest as possible about manipulation, about human psychology in a way that no one's ever talked about before. And you can tell the kind of taboo, kind of power of the book by the fact that several prison systems have literally banned the 48 Laws of Power from their prison system. In Colorado and Pennsylvania, you can't even get the book anymore. And if you try and have someone send it to you, they'll confiscate it because they know that the book has had an effect. So that's why I think it works. And some people try and use it against me as if 48 Law, Robert writes about things that are so ugly and dark that people in prison read it. I don't look at it that way because I think human beings are human no matter where they are. And people even in prison have, you know, they still have feelings and emotions and vulnerabilities. I don't walk away. I'm not ashamed. You learn, I'm kind of obsessed with it. And I love reading books about people who've been in prison and who've survived. And not only survived, if you can go through that unjustly convicted of murder on death row, solitary confinement, and maintain your sanity, wow, that's proof of the human spirit. If you're like interested in improving your dating as an issue, then the art of seduction. If you're dealing with toxic people, 48 Laws of Power. If you're a business person who's starting a business and it's kind of a tricky world to navigate, the War book, strategy book is very good. And then if you're 21 about to launch your career and you don't know what you want to do, then Mastery is a book for you. So And then if you're riddled with fear, and that's holding you back, then the 50th law